Welcome back for another helping of oysters, clams, and cockles presented by Bolin Media. I am Ross Bolin here with Barrett Dudley, and today we are discussing the trailer for House of the Dragon Season 2 and making predictions on what we think we will see during this season before the premiere episode comes out this Sunday evening. Barrett, we are almost there.
Wow. It's here. It's really here.
Can you believe it?
They really did it.
They did. They made it.
They made it.
They made a whole season of TV, and we're going to get to watch it. Before we get into trailer talk, first, a reminder that our companion podcast for the Season 2 premiere will drop Sunday evening, late night. We'll be coming into the studio straight away after watching the episode live and recording our reactions and discussing what we see so we can get that podcast out to all of you as soon as possible. If I had to guess, the audio should be available on major podcast platforms by roughly 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, and video will be available on youtube.com/@oystersclamscockles within a couple few hours after that. Then for the remainder of the season, for episodes 2 through 7, Barrett and I will be recording our companion podcasts.
2 through 8.
2 through 8, yes, thank you. 8 episodes total. We'll be recording the companion podcasts for the remainder of the season Mondays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, so they'll be out for all of you to enjoy Monday afternoons. Remember, every Thursday, we will also be dropping an ad-free podcast further dissecting and discussing each episode of House of the Dragon Season 2, driven by hotline calls from our listeners exclusively on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles. Right now, we're offering a 7-day free trial on Patreon, so you can subscribe and check out all the ad-free content we've put out over the years, including our ad-free bonus episodes for Season 1 of House of the Dragon, our companion podcast for every single episode of The Sopranos, and a companion podcast for a bunch of great movies like Dune Part 2, which is now streaming on Max, I would add.
Yeah.
I finally rewatched it.
Okay.
You and I obviously saw it in theaters before before doing our Patreon episode. Watched it at home. Still tight.
Yeah.
Still very long. But still very tight.
Did you get through it in one sitting?
No.
Okay.
Like
watched it 4 days.
Like 4 nights, yeah. Yeah, like a full week of nights. But we also have companion podcasts for a bunch of other movies like Oppenheimer, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, Interstellar, Joker, Casino Royale, Tenet, 1917, Ex Machina, Saltburn, The Talented Mr. Ripley, and more. So get on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles today and subscribe to make sure you're getting all of our House of the Dragon Season 2 content and not missing out on any of the fantastic analysis and discussions we'll be having over the next couple of months. All right, Bear, let's...
Did you know that there's a Joker sequel coming?
Yeah, it's called Feu de Deux.
Yeah.
I think that's the title.
It's got Lady Gaga in it.
With Gaga, yeah. Yeah, I heard it's a musical.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. They're just going to break into song repeatedly throughout the course of the film. Going to be interesting to see.
If that's true, that actually makes me more interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not joking. I'm not trolling you.
You know we're Broadway boys here on
we are
on Oysters Clams.
Hashtag Broadway boys.
Hashtag Broadway boys. Yeah. Real quick, did you watch Hitman?
No, I haven't seen Hitman yet.
All right.
Wait, is it on
Netflix?
It's Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's the director? Linklater.
Linklater, starring Glenn
Richard.
Richard. Yeah.
Richard Linklater.
Richard Linklater. Yeah.
Is he an Austin guy?
Yeah, he is. He is of Dazed and Confused fame.
Yeah.
Along with Boyhood and Slacker and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, famed director.
Richard Linklater.
Dick Linklater.
The Before trilogy. But yeah, it's good. It's good film. Good 2-hour watch. Speaking of movies that are not too long, this one comes in at a trim 1 hour 55 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, just had to give the local hometown movie star a shout.
Yeah, it's starring
Glenn Powell.
Yeah. Also an Austin guy, or at least
that's
a
what I'm saying.
guy.
Yeah, that's who I was actually talking about.
Oh, okay.
Sure, I'll Richard Linklater as well, but more so the hotter one, Glenn Powell.
Yeah. That's subjective.
Yeah.
But sure.
And Adria I've been saying Adria Arjona, but it might be Adria Arjona. Now I'm not sure, but she's from Andor.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the female lead.
Arjona. All I can give you is the spelling.
Yeah.
Not the pronunciation. Give us a little. What's it about? It's a hitman. I'm assuming he's a hitman.
Yes, this is loosely based off of a Texas Monthly article from the early 2000s about a guy. Actually, this film is set in New Orleans, but this actually happened in Houston, and he was not part of the police force, but he did some contract work with them, and he kind of got thrust into this position of being a fake hitman. And turned out he was really good at it. And like his whole thing was that he would kind of like wear different costumes and like become a different caricature of a hitman each time.
Oh, sick.
Now, this movie takes that premise, kind of starts off with it, and then really does like a Linklater thing and dives into like far bigger questions of, you know, people and humanity and how and change and identity. And spins it into this like really fun kind of like almost like rom-com-y, but dark humor, but cerebral, but also still a little bit Netflix-y film starring two beautiful people. So
all right,
it's great. Yeah, it's a good.
That's a hell of a pitch.
Yeah.
I'm in. All right, let's talk about the House of the Dragon Season 2 trailer. This thing starts out with a voiceover from Rhaenyra Targaryen saying, "The Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or a queen. They are a protector of the realm." And while she's talking, we get visuals of the throne room, an unspecified Targaryen that might be Daemon having a dream, approaching the Iron Throne, and then a couple of members of the Night's Watch seemingly walking to the edge of the wall to look out. And maybe they're not members of the Night's Watch, because I'm pretty sure one of them is Jacaerys, Rhaenyra's son.
Oh, heading out Wallway?
Out at the wall, yeah,
Okay.
which is interesting. I have really missed the wall. Got to be honest with you. I'm rewatching.
Do you think he's taking the black?
No, I don't think he's taking the black. I think he's out there like checking up on something.
On stuff.
But yeah. I'll have more questions about that later. But
So is this a recast?
No, it's the same dude. He's just older.
Okay, all right.
And has his hair has grown significantly
He's going
longer.
Jon Snow. He's going Jon Snow with the hair.
He's got full Jon Snow hair in season 2.
I guess this is really a nod to his true lineage.
Yeah.
With the Strongs, but I think it's you know, we'd be lying I think they would be lying if they said this wasn't supposed to be giving Jon Snow a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair dude. And I'm rewatching season 1 of Game of Thrones right now. It just kind of happened when I finished my House of the Dragon season 1 rewatch. I just like threw on Thrones one night.
Okay.
And the wall is tight.
Yeah, the wall's great.
Like
the wall is great.
It's one of those incredibly unique locations that just makes Westeros really, really cool. And since you brought up Jon Snow, it's crazy rewatching the show with the ending in mind and his whole storyline in mind.
Yeah.
And like the way like Ned Stark is his whole life, Jon Snow's entire life is a lie. Like basically Ned Stark goes to a war, he comes back with Jon Snow and he's like, "Sorry, babe, I got this chick pregnant and I had this kid and now we've got to take care of him." So Catelyn Stark hates his ass. So she's so mean to him in like the first few episodes, dude, before he leaves for the wall.
Yeah.
And anyway,
bastard ass.
Just that show was so great. It was so great for a while there.
I first want to say, really my only nitpick with this trailer comes, and it's not even a nitpick, it's just a feeling that I have. So before I give you that, I want to say that I think this trailer is really fun and awesome, and I can't wait for Sunday.
Yeah, it was exciting.
So it's a good trailer. I'm very, very excited. I really just more want to get your temperature on this, because she starts off and she's talking about, you know, the Targaryen that sits the Iron Throne is a protector of the realm. And so we're really, it's the first thing she says, we're supposed to care about it big time. And yet I kind of don't, because I know who the last Targaryen to sit the Iron Throne is. And then I know the Targaryen that almost sits the Iron Throne. And then I know whose little bitch ass ends up on the Iron Throne in the end anyway.
Yeah.
And so there's something that's like I care about the story of this show, but like the whole idea that a piece of what's really important is that a Targaryen be on the Iron Throne to protect the realm,
right,
is like kind of neutered, because we like.
Well, dude, we bumped up against that during season 1 when they're bringing up Aegon's dream and Viserys is explaining to Rhaenyra the Song of Ice and Fire and the dagger and the importance of all of it. It's like, I think for you and I, and probably for a lot of fans, that's a little lost on us. It's just like, yeah, okay, but once you've seen how it plays out with the long night and the what's his name? Snow King,
the Night King.
The Night King.
Yeah.
Once you've seen how that played out, it's like, yeah, we don't give a shit about that.
Right.
I think it's totally fine to ignore that part.
Yeah.
Not ignore it, but you know what I'm saying.
Because I do care about the politics of which one of these groups kind of wins and then how that like all gets drawn out.
Yes.
It's just the importance of like this whole Targaryen sitting the Iron Throne thing is like a little bit like kind of like
it's a little silly at this point. No, I'm with you.
Okay, continue.
So we see Alicent walking alone through a field, and what I believe is Rhaenyra's crown that they put on her head in the season 1 finale falling to the ground and like rattling around. You know, like, oh, there's gonna be some conflict. Shockingly enough, 3 dragon eggs in a fire, which is kind of a weird visual, especially because 3 dragon eggs in a fire is how Daenerys birthed her 3 dragons in the original series. We see King Aegon walking toward the Iron Throne and being announced by one of the 2 douchebags flanking him. He's got real douchey henchmen. Yeah. I'm stoked on this.
I like the guy shouting his name, though.
Yes.
He does a good job.
Yeah, he's great. Rhaenyra talking to Rhaenys, saying the enemy usurped? Yeah.
Usurped?
Got to get usurped back in my vocab. Usurped my throne. Rhaenyra grabbing a sword from a table and like getting a practice thrust in there, like
jab. Yeah.
Just seeing how the jab feels. Daemon telling Rhaenys, "We're going to King's Landing," and really throughout this trailer, you get the vibe that Daemon is going to be a real troublemaker here. I don't know how much he's going to be listening to anyone's orders. At different points, he's seen on Dragonback, like, I have to assume going to do shit he's been told not to do or that he hasn't gotten approval for.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's a rogue, you know? He can't color inside the lines, and you just have to, you got to let him cook.
Yeah, he can't be contained.
He can't be contained.
He can't. He's ungovernable. Aegon, the king, he's at a small council meeting, like waving his dagger around, and he says, well, what are we going to do about it? And I believe the dagger he's waving is, in fact, the Catspaw dagger, the one with Aegon the Conqueror's dream carved into it, the one that Viserys had, the one that Alicent cuts Rhaenyra with in season 1, the one that is also used to attempt to assassinate Bran in the first season of Game of Thrones, and the one that Arya eventually uses to kill the Night King. That dagger
gets around.
It's been through a lot.
Yeah.
It's been through a lot. We also see Aegon yelling at his brother Aemond One Eye, "Fuck dignity, I want revenge." You got Otto Hightower saying, "News spreads throughout the realm. The great houses will come to our side." There's always houses. Everybody's got to consider the great houses always.
Well, always. You have to, yeah. Those are important to keep in the front of your mind.
Yeah.
This trailer also is like doing it's a little bit more obvious than some others that they're very much splicing things together.
Yeah.
So they're making it sound like whatever's being said next is like the follow-up to the thing that was said before it.
When it's absolutely
But it's also kind of obvious that it's definitely not.
Absolutely not. Yeah. These are all completely separate conversations. They take like 2 separate Rhaenyra conversations and splice them together into one sentence.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't think she says that line. Yeah, it's a little obvious at different points, but all for, good drama and build up throughout the course of the trailer.
Yeah.
And really just giving you the impression that there's going to be a lot of conflict.
A lot of drama, yeah.
A lot of conflict, a lot of drama. We get lots of ground troops, and like not just guys on horseback, also foot soldiers, and they're at one point carrying some kind of like siege warfare equipment.
What is that from? What
like a bunch battering
of soldiers
ram?
doing? A hut as they trot along from. I don't know why that entered.
I don't know. I want to say it's like a Disney movie, like Robin Hood or something.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
Is it ringing a bell?
I don't know why, though.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, they're carrying like a giant like battering ram type of thing. I'm assuming somebody's going to get sieged or put to siege at some point here. Daemon Targaryen saying, "I did not think they'd be so eager to die." Looking forward to the badass Daemon lines this year. And we've got some naval warfare seemingly occurring. Some of Corlys Valerion's ships like surrounding another ship.
What does Corliss say? He's like, my navy is at your service.
He says, my ships sail at your command.
Your command, yeah.
To Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Lots of dragons flying throughout the course of this trailer. Speaking of things being spliced in, it's like they were like, all right, every 15 seconds we need to see a dragon either taking off or soaring through the sky or blowing flames.
Yeah, let's talk dragon riding real quick because there are some shots that look sick. Like when Daemon like drops off the cliff on one, and it's kind of like a pullback
on the bloodworm.
On the bloodworm, on that old bloodworm, WYRM.
Yeah.
And then there's some good ones like from the back, and then there's even a couple of like nighttime ones where it looks kind of sick. And then anytime they try to put a daylight scene, like a King's Landing behind Aegon riding the dragon, it's like, okay, no, get this one out of here. Gotta go on. Go on.
You and
it's funny how they can't quite crack how that should look.
It's the shot that bothers me and that bothered me in season 1 is where they give you the first person shot of them in the dragon's saddle, like on dragon back, and you can tell the camera's like mounted on whatever the dragon, like supposed to be the dragon, you know, when they're doing this with the green screen or whatever. Yeah. And it moves with them. And it that's what makes it look like the never-ending story flying scenes.
But you're talking about when the camera is facing the rider, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to something about suspending disbelief in those moments is a little more difficult. And all in all, I still during my season 1 rewatch, there was only like maybe a 5-second like total throughout the season, 5 seconds that bothered me.
Well, and that's mostly because he does a woo.
Yeah, it's just tough. Woo! Yeah.
But yeah, there's I for the most part I'm liking the dragon riding, especially Daemon on the bloodworm. Yeah.
But I'm with you. It's one of the things that we look out for. It's one of the things that looking forward to this series when we knew it was in production, we had a lot of questions about because frankly, there wasn't a ton of dragon riding in Game of Thrones.
Right.
They only come into play much later in the series, and then really the last few episodes are the only time you're really dealing with a whole bunch of dragon battle action. And for the most part, they avoided these shots that we are now getting, where it's like POV or like close up. You know, they're really trying to get in there with the dragon scenes, and then a lot like if you're talking about like the long night, we couldn't see shit that whole episode. So like it was hard. The dragons looked tight because it was all sort of difficult to make out. When you've got the clear day scenes in House of the Dragon, those are challenging to make look real, which sounds silly saying because dragons, of course, are fictional. but I want my dragon riders and the dragon riding experience to feel and look as real as possible.
As authentic as possible,
of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I need authenticity.
It's got to be the genuine thing.
So we'll keep an eye out for that. We got a line from Daemon where he says, "The realm's only hope is in a leader strong enough to unite it," which again flags for me as like him having a lot of doubts about Rhaenyra. Look, season 1 ends with Daemon being like, let's go to war, let's destroy these people now, no delaying, no questioning it. And Rhaenyra is much more hesitant, and they have conflict as a result. Like, they're not on the same page, and you have to imagine that carries over to this new season that we're going to enjoy. And in response to Daemon saying, the realm's only hope is in a leader strong enough to unite it, this is one of those splicing moments, but they show us Rhaenyra asking Daemon, do you accept me as your queen and ruler? Feels like a really important line in the course of this trailer because I'm still very much on board with the conflict between Rhaenyra and Daemon being one of the main issues that this whole story deals with.
They're cooking it up. There's another line towards the end of the trailer, maybe you have it jotted down. It's voiced over what looks to be like a crying Rhaenyra.
Yeah. And hopefully not a birthing scene.
And it says something about the battle being, or the enemy being insidious.
Yes. Yeah, that's, that would be Larys Strong is the voiceover.
Larys, a.k.a. Clubfoot Strong, as the subtitles alert us.
Yes, the foot daddy. He says, quote, the enemy may be fought with swords. The enemy within is more insidious.
Yeah. Just all really, I think, pointing to what we talked about last week, where there's just in our kind of brief look ahead, just about how insidious this is all going to get, and how infighting is going to be equal to or greater than the fight against each other. I would have to surmise.
Right. We got into this because we were talking about how the marketing is pretty straightforward for the season. The blacks versus the greens. All must choose. Pick a side. Black or green. Which color do you enjoy more? And that is all fun and good when it comes to marketing, and it keeps things simple for the mainstream large audience to be able, oh yeah, okay, I can tune in for this. It's pretty straightforward. We know that's not how it's going to go down, and that obviously it's a George R. R. Martin story. It's a history that he created.
Right.
And the man loves him some infighting.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a whole heck of a lot of that. I looked up the definition for insidious.
Yeah.
Proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects. And then the quote it gives as an example. Sexually transmitted diseases can be insidious and sometimes without symptoms. Why did that have to be the...
I don't know. Is that from Urban Dictionary?
No, it's just straight up dictionary. I don't know, Oxford Dictionary? I don't know. It's the one Google serves you at the top.
Yeah.
Uncredited. All right, back to the trailer. We've got King Aegon flying on Dragonback.
Yeah.
Looking very angry. Also full suit of armor and seemingly solo. Not sure what he's doing there, but look, important to remember in the context of all this, and if you haven't enjoyed our season 1 recap and refresher episode yet, you need to. Aegon is a little psycho. This dude is a deviant, criminal, lunatic who enjoys the child fighting pits in Flea Bottom and has many, many bastards just running around the city, little blonde children out there with their nails filed down and their teeth sharpened so they can fight in the fighting pits. And he's committing sex crimes in the castle and getting accused of all sorts of things. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And they've really only given us they've given us insights into him being a monster, but they've spared us the big Joffrey moments. You know what I mean? Joffrey, Game of Thrones.
Right.
You knew he was a little shit. He was always annoying, but it takes time to build toward the scenes that really, really make you see how evil he is and how just altogether bad he is. And I'm going to assume we're going to do a lot of that with Aegon this season, that he's going to become extremely, extremely hateable. I also ask myself how long Aegon will be around.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason for us to believe, and Aegon will be king throughout this entire conflict between the Greens and Blacks. We don't have any idea. Again, Barrett and I have not read Fire and Blood, will not read Fire and Blood until this series is over. We want to go into it with fresh eyes and ears, just like everybody else who's watching every week that doesn't know what's going to happen. It's more fun for us that way and makes for better podcasting. So I don't know how long Aegon will be around. I don't know. If you told me, Aegon, this is his only season as king, or he only makes it a few episodes or some shit, I would buy that. If you told me,
I could totally buy that.
If you told me we got to deal with him for a couple seasons, I would also buy that. We're just gonna have to see how it shakes out. But that's just something to keep in the back of your mind as well. But yeah, seeing him on Dragonback in a full suit of armor, looking like he's by himself, maybe going rogue, which he definitely did multiple times in season 1. We'll see what happens. Alicent Hightower, throughout this trailer, kind of is painted as not liking the fact that this war is going to occur. She has a quote where she says, "This senseless war must end." And then in a spliced in part, Aemond One Eye asked her, "Would you not have us prevail?" And she responds, "Not like this." Like they're doing some, playing dirty games.
Playing dirty.
And she's not
going low.
She's not down with that.
When they go low, we go high.
Exactly. She wants to go high, but they keep going low. And her dad, Otto, is still, right? Like at the end of season 1, Otto and Alicent very much butting heads. Have to think that'll continue on into season 2. And Otto is a dirty, dirty boy.
Right.
He likes to play dirty games and go low.
Bastard.
Yeah. So I'm just curious because Alicent season 1.
Yeah, the trailer's is painting her out to be the rational one here,
Right.
the voice of reason.
Like she's got regrets.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she wishes this is not going down. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
we never saw Alicent's reaction to the way that season 1 ends with Lucerys being sort of unintentionally murdered by Alicent's son, Aemond. And that may turn her toward being like, oh my God, we have got to stop all this. And then now she's just having to watch it because this is all her fault, to be frank. Like she's the one who set this chessboard up.
Right.
So we've also got Aemond telling Kristen Cole, Alicent holds love for our enemy. That makes her a fool, which just furthers the things we were just saying. And God, I'm not looking forward to Kristen Cole on screen. There's a lot of Kristen Cole in this trailer, but no lines, I don't think, from him. He's just...
I think you mean Christian Cole.
Yeah. No, I think you mean Christian Cole.
A lot of Kristen Cole.
Riding into battle, chilling with Aemond. Him and Aemond appear to be boys.
If I'm setting odds on who lasts longer between like Aegon and Kristen Cole, like I think Kristen Cole goes longer.
I think he's the longer term villain.
Yeah, I do.
King Aegon feels like more of a short-term villain, kind of, right?
Honestly, Aegon's giving me like he's like this dude burns hot and fast.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm picking up on a little bit.
Because Kristen Cole has they're setting the stage with him from episode 1 of season 1.
Yes, yeah.
He's a character introduced immediately. He's got a lot of backstory already. He was with Rhaenyra, right? They had a full-blown relationship. Pretty sure she straight up lost her virginity to him.
Yeah.
Then he flips, goes green, and just becomes more and more hateable throughout the course of the season. He's got a little buddy cop thing going on with Aemond when they go and look for Aegon.
Right, yeah.
Which looks like it's continuing based on this trailer.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm with you. I would bet Kristen Cole has more longevity than this. And
I mean, just like
Aegon.
between the two brothers, right? It's like we've talked about again last week. Like Aemond is just a more interesting character.
Yeah, he is. And he's got Vhagar.
Yeah, seems like maybe like a more savvy, player on the board. But yeah, just speculating here.
Already several lines from Aemond, excuse me, suggesting that he in fact is interested in sitting the Iron Throne himself, which again leads me. It's like I'm willing to bet that happens at some point, which doesn't bode well for his brother Aegon.
I could see that. Yeah.
We've got Jacaerys, one of Rhaenyra's sons, again, out there on the wall, looking out. He is, if I recall, dressed in black, so maybe, I don't know, man, maybe he does take the black for some reason or another.
Are you positive that that's just...
Yes, Jacaerys. It's Jace.
Jace.
It's that boy Jace.
It's that boy Jace.
He's out there getting it up north.
Okay.
Freezing his ass off.
All right, yeah.
I'm positive it's him.
I do think, if I'm remembering correctly, like when you go to the wall, you don your blacks.
Yeah.
You put on your blacks.
Because even when Tyrion, he goes out there season 1, he just visits.
He furs up, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's like, I think it's just customary.
Right.
You got to put on the correct style. You go out to the wall like dressed in yellow.
No, you can't be up there in like reds and yellows, like looking dandy.
Nah, you can't.
No. You gotta look tough.
Exactly. I'm with you. Okay, let's just assume Jace does not, in fact, take the black.
Right.
We're not going to go through that whole thing again.
No, my man's the heir to the Iron Throne right now. Or at least that's on
Rhaenyra's side.
On Rhaenyra's side, yeah.
We already covered Larys Strong, the enemy without, maybe fought with swords. The enemy within is more insidious. You've got Mysaria, a.k.a. the White Worm, saying, there's more than one way to fight a war. And then we see some like classic Game of Thrones style like visuals here, like gold exchanging hands, like some sneaking around in the shadows with a fucking with a torch, and then some sex. Huh?
Oh, is there some sex? Did I miss the sex?
I saw a little sex, a little passion. We didn't get much of that in season 1.
Right.
Season 1 was focused on what happens as a result of sex, which is extremely painful and half of the time deadly birth.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm I'm hoping out loud.
That there's just some good old fashioned,
just passion, just some
good old
making.
fashioned passion,
some fucking, man. That's what I want. That's what I want. I'm not gonna lie to you. We see a small little knife being pulled. Somebody's like, got this little dagger. I'm gonna do stuff with here. See, So yeah, no, excited about that. And
I'm looking forward. These are when we get into this little piece of the trailer. This is where I'm like really like, you know, scratching my chin, being like, because obviously, like, we're set up to expect big battles, big dragon fights, lots of fire, lots of death, lots of blood, lots of fire, lots of blood, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get that, but it's always interesting how the Tywin Lannisters of the world are playing it, right? What's happening in the back channels? Who's funding who? Who's making deals, brokering things, making shit spin in that direction?
Yeah.
So
early in Game of Thrones, you're set up with Varys, the spider, old Baldy there,
yeah,
and Littlefinger,
right,
as your two main schemers in King's Landing. Season 1 of this show, we're set up with Otto Hightower, kind of,
yeah,
but really in terms of like your comps to Season 1. Mysaria,
yeah,
and Larys,
yeah,
are the two more like the schemers, right? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to their character arcs in Season 2 as well. Toward the end of the trailer, there seems to be some kind of an uprising in King's Landing that causes Alicent to like be fleeing on foot with one of her like ladies in waiting. They're both wearing green, and they're like, "Oh shit, we gotta get out of here!" Running from like an angry mob of some kind. Like you said, lots of dragons, lots of flames, lots of fire, lots of war seeming to happen in the trailer, much Dracarys. And then it ends with the line from Rhaenyra, "War is coming, and neither of us may win." And you have to assume she's talking with Alicent, potentially, like, hey, this could end poorly for both of us.
Right.
Yeah. And I'll leave it at that before we get to our predictions. At some point in their lives, most men struggle with sexual confidence like Daemon Targaryen in Season 1. The good news is today's sponsor, Hims, can help. Don't be like Daemon and find yourself unable to perform when the moment arises. With Hims, you'll feel confident knowing you can get hard and stay hard. Your sex life is important, but your schedule is busy. You don't have the time to go to a doctor's office, but through Hims, now you can get treated for ED without stepping foot outside your door. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. Hims provides access to doctor-trusted ED treatments and options such as chewable hard mints, brand-name treatments like Viagra, or generic alternatives for up to 95% cheaper. The process is simple and 100% online. No uncomfortable doctor's visits. Answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. If prescribed, your medication ships to you for free. No insurance is needed. If ED is getting you down, it's time to join the hundreds of thousands of trusted Hims subscribers and get treated. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/OCC. That's HIMS.com/OCC for your personalized ED treatment options. Hims.com/OCC. Hims hard mints are chewable compounded products which are not approved or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. So let's talk about some predictions and things we're excited about before we head out for today. Like I said, very, very interested to see what is going on out on the wall. Season 1, it's pretty straightforward. The wall is out there.
Yeah.
This is the place they send all the criminals and the unwanted bastards and the losers and, people who are rejected from society.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like like adjudication. It's like, oh, you don't want to go to prison or have the death penalty? Well, we'll also give you the option to
You can take the black.
You can take the black.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the original setup in Game of Thrones, and then obviously we come to find that their whole reason for existing is to protect the realm from
whatever's out there in the
unknown threat north of the wall.
Wildlings,
right?
Maybe something more sinister.
So we kind of questioned, what do people think the wall is for?
Right.
In this era of Westeros, right? Because it's tough to remember this as you're watching the show, but like A Song of Ice and Fire, Aegon's Dream, the White Walkers, the Night King, that's not public knowledge, right? Nobody in House of the Dragon has even mentioned like the rumors. In Game of Thrones, there are rumors.
Right.
There's all these rumors of like this evil up north of the wall.
And I would say that those rumors largely live up north.
Right. In Winterfell.
In Winterfell and
with the Starks.
Surrounding areas. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm curious to see what the setup is in House of the Dragon. Like if Jace going out to the wall is like, because part of Game of Thrones lore is, you know, the brothers of the Night's Watch, they've been protecting the realm for thousands of years. So the wall's been around. It's not like Jace is going to be going out there and like establishing the Night's Watch or something. But I'm just curious because as we've talked about, one of the weird elements of this story is like we don't really, it's tough to be invested in the threat from the north storyline. We're interested in the happenings in Westeros and between the Blacks and the Greens and Rhaenyra and Alicent and all the infighting that could occur. So to see that there is going to be some wall presence in this season, it just makes me very interested to see what the storyline is.
You want a prediction?
Sure.
Jace exacts revenge for his brother, and Rhaenyra sends him to the wall because he cannot. He's too much of a target now, and he's got to go hide out up there. Maybe even like I don't know if she makes him take the Black, but like get to the wall. You're staying there. You're not coming back down here because you can't die in this war because you are.
I can't lose another kid.
Yeah, I can't lose. Yeah. You're the heir.
Well, we do know episode 1 is titled "A Son for a Son."
Yeah.
So I could.
Well, and then there's.
I could get on board with this, Barrett.
Aegon, like fuck dignity. I want revenge. There's nothing to take revenge for yet.
They're supposed to be getting revenge. Yeah, you killed their kid.
Yeah.
So
there's gonna be something that Aegon wants revenge for.
Jace.
Could be.
Maybe taking the Black.
That boy Jace.
Okay, another thing. We left season 1 with Rhaenyra trying to gather houses to her side.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was going well.
Did not go particularly well. Lucerys and his dragon are killed by Aemond and Vhagar when they're leaving Storm's End after being rejected by Boros Baratheon. So I'm very curious to see like who will side with Rhaenyra and the Blacks, who will side with Alicent and the Greens. There was a little bit of this in Thrones, but not a ton of like houses picking sides. Well, I guess there was kind of a ton.
Yeah, there was.
They had the whole red wedding and the like. It's kind of a big part of the story now that I'm taking a second to think about it. So that's going to happen here too.
Right.
Everybody's going to need to be picking and choosing. Surely there will be a lot of betrayal.
Got to call your banners, you know?
Yeah, I'll get those bannermen. You swore an oath. So we'll see who will side with Rhaenyra and the Blacks, who will side with Alicent and the Greens. To circle back to the White Worm, Mysaria, very quickly. End of season 1, she starts a relationship with Otto Hightower. She stashes, who is now King Aemond, in that like church or whatever, like chunks him under an altar. Tells Otto where he is so that he can go, have his men get him. And that obviously doesn't work out for Otto. Point being, Mysaria has a relationship with Otto Hightower. Beginning of season 1, she has a relationship with Daemon Targaryen. She has a lot of potential for some double agent style stuff here.
Oh, sure.
If she's still feeding Otto information. And my prediction is that Daemon will rekindle his relationship with Mysaria somehow, which will cause further conflict between him and Rhaenyra, but also serve them because he'll be getting information from inside King's Landing and Otto and Anyway, they've really played up this whole White Worm thing. So, you have to imagine she's quite important. I'm wondering if we'll see any of Laenor Valerian, who, will he come back into play at any point here? Because remember, he and his lover, Carl, with a Q.
Quasi Carl.
Quasi Carl. They faked his death, and they, bounced to go enjoy their lives across the narrow sea or whatever.
I was at home the other day, and I just thought about Quasi Carl and made myself laugh out loud.
So Quasi Carl is Quazy. Yeah. Qarl. Quasi Carl. We might have to make Quasi Carl shirts. Anyway, interested to see if Laenor comes back in this season. I could definitely see him being a character that's left on the shelf for a while.
Yeah.
And then he comes back in some big moment later on or something.
Yeah.
Are you just getting absolutely wrecked by allergies right now? What's going on with your eyes?
I almost cried laughing thinking about Quasi Carl. But yeah, I think it's extra. I'm extra teed up because all these allergies.
Yeah, they're tough out there, man. I've been getting wrecked.
A lot of mold.
Quasi Carl. Also,
Yeah, but I don't think I'm not expecting Leonor back in the mix this season. Yeah,
I could be on board with that.
Okay.
Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, season 1 is Harold Westerling, and remember when Otto tells him, "All right, go kill Rhaenyra," he quits. He's like, "I'll be back when there's an actual king to serve." We do not know if he's actually going to be back. My guess is he does not come in there and protect Aegon.
Who shows up in season 1 to like Rhaenyra's like little crowning situation? Doesn't somebody pop
One of the
up?
Erics.
It's one of the Erics. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The good Eric.
Okay.
So not Auric. I think it's Eric with an E. I can never remember which one it is now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not him. Harold Westerling is still in the wind.
In the wind. Okay.
When season 1 ends.
Yeah.
My bet is that he goes and joins up with Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And it's like Barristan Selmy found Khaleesi and served her after quitting the Kingsguard in Game of Thrones. I'm betting there's going to be a lot of parallels, man. That's easy decision making there. So
remember when Daenerys had Barristan Selmy and Jorah Mormont and the sexy guy.
Oh yeah. What was his name? The sexy guy. They got recast.
Yeah.
Oh, the first dude was so good too.
He was awesome. Yeah.
Original.
But then Michael Hesterling or whatever that guy's name is, like more of a classic beauty. But the other guy had so much swag. But yeah, anyway, she had
Dario Naharis.
Dario Naharis.
Oh, that's that dude right there.
She had a dream team going for a little while.
She really did.
Man.
Whole squad.
What Tyrion as well, right?
Man meat, yeah.
Just, four strapping lads just advising.
I Googled Daenerys Targaryen lovers. And the 3 it gives you up top are Khal Drogo, Dario Naharis, and Jorah Mormont. I don't know if Jorah...
I thought Jon Snow was going to be the third one.
Jorah probably shouldn't be on that list.
No, I don't think he was friend-zoned hard and forever.
Yeah, that's your boy.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. You did ride hard.
I ride for my man's Jorah. Yeah.
Eternally.
Everybody knows that about me.
Also, interested to see who is on Aegon's small council, King Aegon's small council. I kind of assumed like both Otto and Alicent would be on it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if Alicent will be. Like,
right?
I think he might shut Mommy out.
Yeah.
Especially with all this talk in the trailer of like her still having love for the enemy. Maybe she starts on it and then she gets bounced out of there for being too soft, as they will read it. But certainly Otto. He's got to be Hand of the King still. So yeah, he'll still be a very big player here at the beginning of season 2. That's kind of it for my predictions. Anything else? I do have another huge piece of information regarding season 2 to drop on you here that I don't think you're aware of.
Okay. Do you want to give me that, or do you want me to give you my going way out on a limb prediction?
I want you to give me that first.
Okay. I think that this is Rhaenyra's last season.
Really?
Yeah. That's my big P. My big prediction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your big P, huh? Hashtag big P. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like it would be a little soon for you?
No.
But okay.
I think I don't know if I've been told this directly or explicitly, but I feel like all the murmurs are out there about Fire and Blood. It's like, oh, you think like characters die in Game of Thrones? Like, just you wait. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm buying too much into what this trailer is trying to peddle, but it just seems like this Daemon, he's bad news for Rhaenyra. I don't think that relationship is.
I'm with you there.
It's long for days.
But I feel like Rhaenyra will make it through to season 3.
Right. Yeah.
I think she is our long-term protagonist.
Okay.
But I am 100% on board with the overarching sentiment that like most of these people are going to die. Like a strong majority of them. Like one of the things starting the rewatch of Game of Thrones that occurred to me is like there are no Valerians. They're all fucking gone.
That's right. Yeah.
So like they're gonna get wiped off the face of the damn earth by the time Game of Thrones comes around, and that's only 150 years or whatever from now. So no, I mean the strong majority of these characters are gonna get got.
Okay, what's your big news?
We are getting a brand new intro sequence. They're going away from the classic Game of Thrones map style intro.
Okay.
Guess what it is centered on? You'll never guess.
Okay, tell me.
Tapestries. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I like this.
It's a tapestry-based intro sequence.
Okay.
I've seen like a couple of screenshots.
Yeah.
It looks tight. I'm very, very excited.
I'm into this. I wonder, that's really, really interesting. What that makes me think of is that, like,
It's a new era, Barrett.
it's almost like
Miguel is gone.
It's almost like they waited too long to figure it out for season 1, and they were just like, shit, just go with the
kind of OG version,
yeah, and they just kind of like shoehorned it in.
Well, dude, because remember, episode 1, there is no intro sequence. They just hit us with the Targaryen sigil, the dragons, and it's like House of the Dragon. That's it. Then episode 2, they roll out the classic Game of Thrones. Is
there word on what song they're using?
I did not see anything about that. I am very confident the song will be the same.
I think you got to stick with the song.
Can't lose the song. That's way too risky.
Yeah.
But giving us new visuals, I'm super into.
Yeah,
and
I like this.
Like The White Lotus. Every season, they give us a new iteration of the theme song with totally new visuals.
Yeah.
I really like that. And I think for these guys, for Ryan Condal, the showrunner, this is sort of a new era.
Right.
You know, Miguel Sapochnik is out the door.
Yeah.
It's just him.
Yeah.
And they want to bring some fresh juice to this thing. And I really like that idea because it was always, you know, I may have spoken to this some during season 1. I can't quite recall. Quasi Carl. but it was always kind of a bummer that they were just like, we'll just do the same thing we did with Game of Thrones.
Right.
I was kind of looking forward to something new.
I think we were a little bit surprised, not necessarily like let down, but just like, oh, okay. Like it was a missed opportunity to do something cool like this.
And
you know?
I'm telling you, I'm feeling good about this. I think it's going to be good.
Do you think that some of the tapestries will be erotic?
I think they will. I think we're in store for erotic tapestries. I think eroticism is being restored to Westeros in this season. I'm really on board with that.
White Lotus, there's a little bit of eroticism at play.
There's a lot.
You know?
And people are getting it in every hole.
That's right. You know? We stan an H intro sequence.
We do. We're a very H podcast. But yeah, so that's my big announcement. And then, of course, important for us all to remember, like one of the concerns that came up between seasons 1 and 2 was that seemingly there was a lot of infighting within the production crew.
Right.
That Miguel Sapochnik and his wife, that I guess he like wanted to be involved and maybe kind of shoehorned into season 1. We obviously never got all the full details as that stuff was happening behind closed doors. Yeah. There was a lot of rumors and murmuring and deadline reporting and what is it? Demois stuff. But Sapochnik is gone. And Sapochnik is the guy that when they announced House of the Dragon, we were all super stoked about because he's one of the OG Game of Thrones dudes. He did a lot of really classic episodes as director. And now he was going to be show running and we trusted him. Well, he's out the door and that's one of the reasons season 2 will be so interesting. Ryan Condal was not a Game of Thrones guy.
Right.
But he is the one who developed
the show,
the concept for House of the Dragon with George R. R. Martin, got his approval, got his stamp of approval, and got it moving forward at HBO. Then they brought in Sapochnik. So I'm not saying I'm concerned. I'm just saying that's an interesting facet of this season, that it is just the Ryan Condal show now.
Yeah, and it's TBD. Obviously, we'll see if we feel any differences from that based on what Miguel was good at, and then also based on the little inside the episodes after season 1. Not that that's a whole ton to go off of, or even should be, or I even should be basing anything off of that. But like, I don't know that we're gonna miss him.
I don't either.
Which
is kind of sad to say.
He seems behind the whole woman's birthing is the
battlefield. The child bed is the woman's battlefield.
Bed is the woman's battlefield.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. Frankly, was kind of a miss.
Well, because you're not a woman, and you don't have any kids yet, so it's like, yeah, it's a miss for you.
Did your wife enjoy that the motif?
No, because she was pregnant and still no now having given birth twice. But okay, so that's a fair point.
That's
a fair point.
Well, and
here's
yours
what I
is
mean,
too. Your point is fair too. And there were people, I remember, there were commenters and people that were engaged with us over season 1 that did feel like glad that some light was being shown on that a little bit.
Yes, but here's kind of why I thought that was neat, as horrific as it was to experience watching it occur week after week after week with all the traumatic birthing scenes. It was always kind of a question to me. Like, I remember being a little kid in the 90s or whatever, and being like, "Wow, it's kind of shitty being a man. Like, we have to go fight all the wars. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, that kind of sucks.
Okay,
Women don't have to do shit."
Yeah,
that is not really true. And this is one of these huge sacrifices that women make for humanity.
Yeah.
Which is kind of arguably the biggest sacrifice that can be made for humanity, which is the continuation of humanity, right? So it was cool because I've never seen a show really tee that up. It just was absolutely torture watching all those scenes throughout the course of the season. And yes, it got a little heavy-handed by the end. You're just like, okay, fuck's sake.
Right.
Please. And yeah, because of the after the episode interviews, it did seem like Sapochnik was like a little, almost like on the nose with the way he was kind of pushing that whole thing. But I don't think we'll miss him.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be in good hands here with Condal. Early reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. Don't like to give those too much credit.
Sure.
Especially in this day and age where it feels like every fucking show they put out, certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with like a 96% or whatever. And then I watch the show and I'm like, this is garbage. Like, what the hell are these people on Rotten Tomatoes doing?
Yeah.
Feels like a lot of reviewers are bought and paid for. But
sad.
It's always good when you get a season rolling out and you're not seeing a ton of like negative, like, oh my God, they blew it press.
Right.
That's always the thing you want to avoid. So,
or even it sounds like there's no embargo. There's no on reviews, which is also usually positive.
Yeah. They're letting people put their shit out. I have seen some publications being a little annoying with the clickbait, saying like, "You're not gonna believe what they did in episode." And the reason that pisses me off, is because like, let us watch the fucking premiere first. Right. Do you mind if we all get our beaks wet before you start throwing out this muckraking clickbait shit? I don't like that. So try to avoid that if you can, Clam Fam, because it's you don't want to go there. Don't go to Negative Town before you have to.
Yeah,
just don't do it. Don't do it. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Tapestry-based intro sequence, Barrett.
Hell yeah.
It's happening.
That's big. It's big.
It is. Available wherever you are enjoying today's show is our Season 1 recap and review for all of you who are like, I don't have time to watch all of Season 1, but I need a refresher because a lot of the things the guys said today and the character names they mentioned, I don't even remember. Season 1 recap and review. It's the episode just below this one, whether you are watching on youtube.com/@oystersclamscockles or listening on one of the major podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Go listen to that. Go watch that. Enjoy that. Please tell all of your friends and family who are watching House of the Dragon about Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. Grow the Clam Fam. It is your duty. And we ask that you please tell all of your people about our show. Rate and review. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. Write a couple sentences. If you've never reviewed our show, it would mean a lot to us if you would do that. On Spotify, it's just a 5-star rating system. I don't think you can actually write a review, but still give us 5 stars on there too. If you're on youtube.com/@oystersclamscockles, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment below, give us your predictions for what you think will happen in Season 2. Please, for the love of God and all that is good and holy, no book spoilers. If you read Fire and Blood, keep your trap shut. Keep it to yourself. We know you know what's going to happen. We're not interested in your thoughts because you know already. So don't spoil it for anybody. Nobody wants that. Don't do it. And again, we'll be back later this week on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles, taking hotline calls from the Clam Fam, further discussing the Season 2 trailer and predictions from our members of the Mollusk Militia there on Patreon, who have access to our hotline that can call into the show and be featured in our Patreon exclusive episodes. That'll do it for today. But we'll see you later this week if you're on Patreon, and if not, then, well, this is it. This is it until the premiere. Wow. We're there.
Wow.
We made it. We survived. For more from me, Ross Bolin, check out the Ross Bolin podcast wherever you get your oysters, clams, and cockles. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at WRBolin. Mr. Dudley, where can the people follow you and keep up with your other content?
I'm on Instagram and X at Barrett Dudley.
Barrett
Two
Dudley,
T's.
BarrettDudley on the gram and X. Go to bolinmedia.com/shop to grab yourself some House of the Dragon inspired merch. We've got some good t-shirts, coffee cups, mouse pads, hats, good fun stuff. bolinmedia.com/shop. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to interacting with everybody on social media throughout the course of this season. Cannot wait to enjoy season 2 with all of you. Until next time, I love it when a plan comes together.